Well, welcome to day 2. We are getting people to trickle in. Good morning. I hope everyone is having a great AWE 2021. Great to see everyone in person and looking forward to this track chair. I am going to be leading today's agenda. My name is Kristen Glushan. I am the head of partnerships and marketing for Trigger, the mixed reality agency. And just going to go through a few housekeeping announcements, make sure everyone knows where to go today, a few major things that are on the slot throughout the day, and then I will announce our esteemed speakers here to kick things off for what I think is going to be a really, really great day for the retail, e-commerce, and advertising track. And for those that caught some of the sessions yesterday, a lot of really great stuff on product viewers, try-ons, connected packaging, so there's a lot of that today as well. So let me just jump into some of the reminders. Make sure you've got the app. Still a lot of use of it today, so take advantage of that as you're planning your day's activities. And keep in mind, as was announced in the main stage, that there is a leaderboard, which I think is kind of cool. So the more engaged you are, the better chance you have for a prize. And speaking of engagement, make sure you're networking, asking a lot of questions of our speakers. This is the moment to take advantage of that networking. There's no silly questions. Coffee breaks are going to be available, sponsored by Niantic, today from 10 to 11:30 at the Expo Hall, which I think maybe many of you caught yesterday, so get your caffeine kick later on this morning. And then we've got the Augie Awards this evening, so stick around for that. There are 15 breakthrough categories as well as 3 Best in Show categories. That's going to be tonight at 7 p.m., so please stick around for that. And then thereafter, right after actually, there's an after-hours event at the Glass House in San Jose, about a 15-minute Uber ride or Lyft ride from 8 to 11 p.m. today. Let's see here. Oh, it looks like they actually have shuttle services too. One way though, so you'll have to get your way back to the hotel. As far as concession stands, you'll be well fed throughout the day. For any kind of social posting, taking pictures, make sure you're using the hashtag AWE 2021. And then keep in mind, too, we are recording these sessions. You'll have access to them after the event. The one housekeeping thing I'll make note of, because I saw this come up a few times throughout the sessions yesterday, is when you're asking questions, make sure you please do it in the mic so that our online audience can hear as well. And then Expo, that is open. I cannot wait to check that out, seeing a lot of our partners and friends. That opens at 11 and will run until 6 p.m. And tomorrow it'll be open from 10 to 3. If you're not on the Wi-Fi, hopefully you got all that yesterday. But the password for your reference is all lowercase, welcome exclamation point. And then, as has been noted, we would not be here without AWE's sponsors. So I just want to call out a few of them. Yep. Great, we got the slide there. The AWE team would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support, Arbor XR, Care AR, and Xerox Company, HP, Metamaterials, Plug XR, and a really big thank you to our titanium sponsors, Niantic, Qualcomm, and Unity Technologies. All right, so let's kickstart the day. Everyone get excited. We've got our first session, which is AR for Retail, how virtual try-on and try-out transform the way the world sees Bollé. And we've got some really great speakers joining us today. It's a joint presentation. We have Maher, who is the founder of M7 Innovations. He's a futurist, a speaker. He has a number of relationships at Fortune 100 companies throughout the media and technology landscapes, and specializes in AI, AR, VR, and the Internet of Things, as well as voice technology. We've also got joining him Mike Cadoux, who is the general manager of QReal Technologies, and he is QReal, is an established beachhead within the AR industry, creating the most lifelike models of cuisine is where it started, but it's expanded to create modeling for other verticals, including fashion, luxury, automotive, and more. And then joining us from Bollé is Chris Abbruzzese, and he is the VP Trade Marketing. He has been there since November 2019 as Vice President of Trade Marketing North America, and his team are responsible, I thought this was really cool, B to C through B, marketing strategies, which is really cool, that promote retail success and drive sell-through. And I also want to plug for you, really cool brand, and he was giving out coupon codes as well. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. So thank you so much for joining, and I will hand the baton to you. Looking forward to your speaking.
Awesome, thank you so much. So let's just make sure that we're all good here. 20 minutes on the clock. We're so excited. This is going to be a really fun presentation. It's going to be 20 minutes of fury we throwing at you. And this isn't just going to be use cases of success in AR. We actually want to kind of arm you with how you can use augmented reality and 3D models to actually drive sales. And we have some fresh new data from our campaigns to show how effective it really is. So I'm jacked up. I know Mike's probably jacked up. Chris is always jacked up. So let's get right into it. This is AR for retail and how virtual try-on and try-out can actually help drive sales. Wonderful introduction, so we can fly through this. Again, I'm Maher, founder of M7 Innovations. My fun fact is my 15-month-old son got his first pair of Bollés before he got his first tooth. He also loves the glasses. Mike?
Oh, yeah, I'm Mike Cadoux. As we noted, QReal makes lifelike 3D models, and we do end-to-end AR experiences from ideation to creation, storyboarding, and distribution, and so just really excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, Chris Abbruzzese with Bollé, and Bollé's a roll-up of Spy, Serengeti, and Bollé, and I'm responsible for putting across those brand messages at retail. Looking forward to chatting with you, and like our host said at the start, if you didn't get a promo code, I want to make sure that you too get your shopping done before Christmas.
That's right, Christmas in November. So over the next 20 minutes, there's basically 5 things we're going to go through. What the ultimate goal of AR is, kind of just the best practice to how to make it work, not just in the AR lenses, but how you can bring it to your actual product pages. Which platforms, there's Snap here, you have Instagram, which ones you should really leverage. How do you measure it? Because that's a huge piece, especially from the advertising world. How do we show ROI? And how do you get buy-in? Because it's not just this emerging media platform. It is an amazing new medium that can really drive sales. So how do you get your senior leaders to actually buy into it? But it always starts with the consumer and starts with attention at a brand. There's so many companies that are solutions that are looking for problems, but at a brand level like Bollé, you actually have the tension that comes from the brand. If you want to speak on that, Chris.
Yeah, so if you saw in the title, it said Bollé Brands Performance Innovation since 1888, so a long time. So performance is our DNA, it's in our sunglasses, but the question is at retail, how do you demonstrate that? The glasses sit on the shelf, they don't scream performance, they just scream style, mirror, and things like that. So getting people to put them on is difficult, especially with COVID, because then they have to be cleaned, and so you've got that friction. So we were like, how do we tangibly show performance? And so with this AR, when we explored it, we said, okay, this is on brand. We said we are all about innovation. So one, it's on brand, but then can we put this demonstration in the hands of the consumer, in their palm, on their phone, so that they can not only experience it on their own device, but then share it with others. And that is it unique and differentiated. So you're aware of Warby Parker, and they've sort of created a revolution of eyeglasses online, and try on. People want to try on, see how they look, and they've solved for that. But that's now table stakes, and so we were saying, with performance sunglasses, how do we take the try-on and then augment that with a try-out right in that person's context, whether they're inside, outside, in their neighborhood, they can literally try on the glasses. And so that's next level. That's really what we wanted, and that's where we turned to Matt and QReal, and they helped us execute on that.
Totally. So I will say this is interactive. You're going to see 7 QR codes up there. Take out your phone, scan them. You can actually test out the tech yourself. Find us after. I have our latest campaign on an NFC chip in my ring. I can tap your phone. You can try it out. So let's go through each one. I know, pretty futuristic and kind of cool, right? So let's go through our first campaign here. So again, we said try on is table stakes, but it's really all about try out. And you're going to see on the right, we put this in the hands of our influencers and athletes, put it on Instagram where there's great organic reach, and just let them try it out. So of course you can see aesthetically what you look like, but it was really all about the duality of the lens, the try out, light adaptive, high contrast, a UI where you can actually see what it looks like to look through those glasses. And we're talking product trial one-to-one at scale, especially as Chris said, in COVID times, you don't want to put on a communal pair of sunglasses. This offers this lifelike representation. You will see in many of these stories, there are actually a couple folks who are testing it out while going about 60 or 70 kilometers on a bike. Please don't do that. Don't ride too fast and try out the lens, but we were really excited to see the athletes kind of lean into it. And this was the precipice of 6 more campaigns that came after it, the ability to both try on and try out. Now, that's a great AR experience. It's a great product trial, but it doesn't end there. And I kind of wanted Mike and his expertise to talk through all the paths a consumer takes on a journey and where we can actually hit them. And right before we do that, the other piece of AR is what the video you saw. You know, we put production dollars behind this, made an amazing 60-second spot with Olympians and our athletes promoting just the augmented reality filter. So I think that's a big piece of it too. It's not in a silo, it's not a one-off thing. We actually invested into it. And then the real secret sauce is when you actually go shop on the product page and get full 3D models, which I'll jump to here.
Yeah, so you know, I think we create a lot of 3D models and XR experiences, and what happens a lot of times is you just get people dipping their toe in the water and they just want to try something out, maybe make a lens and then move on and say they did it. And so what we really pride ourselves on with this campaign and others is being able to take these assets and put them across a brand's entire digital ecosystem, right? So you're not siloed into just making an Instagram lens or a Snap lens or whatever. We take that one 3D model and then we're able to put it across their website, across their social media, Instagram, Snapchat. We make 3D ad units with it. And so we take this one thing, but it's rather difficult, right? There's a lot of talk here about interoperability and being able to take these things into different places, and that's just not the case that we have today, right? Like, it's they're walled gardens, and if you think you're going to take that one experience and just port it directly into other types of platforms, it's just not today, right? And so what you need is the expertise in order to take that one experience, take that one model, and design it on all these different platforms. And so what we really pride ourselves on and what we think is necessary going forward, because media campaigns aren't just singular, right? They run entire media campaigns. And so augmented reality and 3D have to be able to meet that entire digital ecosystem, right? Through the web, in their apps, on their e-commerce sites, which we'll talk about, on all their social media channels. We do it at retail, and then we make 3D ad units for them. And so I think that's a really important part of not only now, but in the future of these types of campaigns.
So we go next into picking the right platform, and a couple more examples here. So for Spy, again, part of Bollé Brands, we started to want to contextualize. Again, we have to get better. Try on, try out is great. What's the next step? So for our Marauder, what we did was, 3 months before snow season, we actually wanted to make you feel like you were ripping down a double black diamond course. So not only can you try on the magnets.
Matt doesn't ski.
I don't ski. I would die if I went on a double black. Are there double black diamonds?
They just don't call them courses.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's cute. It's cute.
Thank you. I'll stick to the technology, I guess. But this contextual lens here, so now it's aspirational. Not only are you getting fun, but you're getting functionality. And the next step was saying, okay, but now let's go back to the tech. And we have this Happy Lens technology on the Marauder and on our other lenses. We wanted to showcase how Happy Lens tech, so when you're on the mountain, on a course or a slope, if you will, and going down, how does the Happy Lens tech work? And we have the blip that we have on the website that explains it, but we wanted, again, to use AR and to visually explain how the good rays will get through and the bad rays won't. So if you look on this right side in our world lens, we said, here's how Happy Lens works. And we're going to do this full animation where you can see the sun's rays. The bad rays aren't going to get through. The good ones are. And you know what? Don't believe us? We'll pull this up. Now you can actually see the difference between your normal camera and when you're looking through Happy Lens technology. So again, contextualizing and having a richer, deeper experience on that tryout. So now we're going to pause for a second and say, okay, great. Those were 4 campaigns. Did they work? And I think it's a resounding yes. And Chris, I think let's have you kind of talk through the success that we had.
Yeah, so this was our first. It was the Chrono Shield, and it was all organic. There was no paid media behind it. You can see the stories, the impressions, the views, the dwell time. So that was absolutely astounding, and that was last summer. And so we said, okay, let's do it again in the winter, and obviously coming into goggle season. We did a campaign with a national retailer, 800 stores. All of those 800 stores were closed. So this particular retailer, which rhymes with chicks, having to do everything online. And so we said, hey, could we serve up some really cool imagery? We think we can help drive interest and conversion. And you see the numbers, and those are real numbers. 456% increase year over year in the month of January. Part of the process of getting these things across is me as a brand working with the e-com director, the buyer, the merchandiser, and getting all those things in line. We couldn't do it before December, so we missed Christmas. I said, give me January, let us serve up an ad unit, drive some traffic, get some conversion. So we did this in January. We did this post-Christmas, and we exceeded their Christmas sales with our January sales, and it was done through this Google ad unit. And then we said, can we do it with another brand? This was up in Canada, 300% increase. 18 million interactions with a 3D product, and that was on Tilly's.com. That was actually just this past summer. In 30 days, we served a 3D image 18 million times, and you look at the dwell times. So these are real results, and we're always taking the next steps, and we're going to talk about that. Me as a marketer, I want to tell stories, and then the product team always says, hey, make sure you don't forget the tech. And so we've been able to both show and tell versus show, don't tell, which is what my teacher always said. We've actually taken that to the next level. So.
Yeah, and I think it's important here also, I think there are a lot of numbers on the AR growth has been shown here, and rightfully so, and a lot of them happen at the kind of top level. And so what we really wanted to bring down to you is like, here's a campaign, right? Here's what we got from doing these specific things and what the return was on those. And I think getting at that granular level and understanding if you do it cross-platform, you can see amazing returns. This is what we did. Mm-hmm. The technology is there today to do it. All the platforms are there today. It's like the AR try on and try out is here today, and you can get amazing returns from it.
Yeah, and a quick call out, I do really hate complimenting you, but the reality is this. The reason why it's so successful is the 3D models, the fidelity is unbelievable. It is almost virtually indistinguishable from the real product, and I think that makes a big deal, because if it's not good, and we've seen our competitors do it not well, it's that uncanny valley, it's that this is a joke, this is the vomiting rainbow. So QReal and what you create is unbelievable, and that's also what we attest and attribute to why we have sales like
Thank
this.
You, Matt.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Get you back for the ski joke. And now to the next part, right? So then how do you what's the next level of how we double down and continue to push the technology itself? And I want Chris to speak to this, because the Volt Plus lens, which is just unbelievable, used AI, and the way it was built was so amazing that we had to match it with AR. So, Chris, tell us about the Volt Plus.
Yeah, so our struggle with sunglasses is to pop color and give you a rich, saturated experience without destroying white balance. And traditionally, that's done through 3 rare earth elements. It's done through coatings and thin films. But we said, okay, how could we do something that isn't humanly possible? That is, combine red, green, and blue without destroying white. So we turned to the computational power of artificial intelligence, had 20 million iterations, came up with one synthetic formula and compound that we could put into our lens and the pigment, and then combine that with a polarized and an AR coating to give you an absolute amazing experience. So here it was, we were bringing something that was just cutting edge on the technology. We couldn't use an analog way to tell that story, and so this played right into it.
And also to note here, what we did was, again, a lot of brands, it's not, you have your hero product, but you have other SKUs, different colorways, different variations. So concurrently, what we did on Instagram was actually release the entire product line through Instagram lenses. So you could basically pop in and try any of the 30 plus SKUs to, again, see exactly what you look like. So marquee experience to look at the tech, and then actual functional try-on to see which one you'd like to actually pick out.
And let me just add real quick, I'm a sunglass nerd. Like I wear them all day, every day, and the Volt Plus Bollé sunglasses are the best lenses I've ever worn. Let me just plug that for you. Those things are fucking awesome, and they will blow your mind. You all just got promo cards. Buy the Volts. Just trust me, they are awesome. Just go for it.
Shameless plug.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it.
Yes, it's true.
So in our last campaigns here, again, we wanted to push the limits yet again. And now we're at a point where premium products, higher price point, very educated consumer that likes to do their research. And we said, why don't we give them that research and informational triad experience all within the actual lens itself? So for Bollé, there's Taurus and the Marauder Elite. And I'll let Mike to speak to this one because, again, QReal kind of pushed the tech and what we were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge here is to show technical aspects in an engaging lens, right? And so, both Bollé and Spy and Serengeti, their other brands are, they're technical lenses and they want to tell that story. But we have to keep that connected to, still social. People want to, enjoy themselves and have a good experience. And so here we were able to show, the field of view that will expand for you if you use the Taurus glasses and the beautiful lenses you're going to be able to see with it. And then on the next one, on the face lens, just through some kind of savvy animation, we're able to, break apart the sunglasses and show you, in we think a pretty cool way, all of the different features of what you're going to get on the goggles, right? And so this is an example of people are always trying to, usually it's just bullet points on a website, right? But we're trying to tell that story through an augmented reality experience. And we think it's actually an amazing platform for that, but there's usually a lot of show and not a lot of info that go into AR experiences like this. And so this was a challenge for us, and it worked out so far for us.
Yeah, and I'll just say the show and the tell is important at retail because like every other industry, retailers are scrambling to find store associates and put them on the floor. And when they can't, that story doesn't get told. As a brand marketer, that inventory doesn't turn. And so we're able to put these experiences at retail, which compress time because the consumer's engaged, they're learning enough to make a purchase. And then when they go to the associate, then it's a matter of trying on 1 or 2 pair of glasses versus the whole collection. And then the other is to raise their average unit retail, which is what retailers are trying to do all the time. And we're able to do that because we can now tell a story that we couldn't tell before and do it in a dynamic way.
Yeah. So wrapping up here.
Oh my gosh, that was the takeaway.
That was a takeaway.
I'll save that. I'll take that.
It's as if we practiced it, guys. It's as if we practiced it. So key takeaways here. I'll kind of give you the what you need to take away from this. And I think Chris and Mike can kind of give the why of why it's really important for your business, for your brand, for your company. So again, the what, how do you succeed? First, again, we're reverse engineering. We weren't a solution looking for a problem. We listened to what the consumer wanted. We realized we had a tension and we had to solve it. So we start with that end user and then reverse engineer for the actual experience. We also look at that entire consumer journey. As Mike said, the 3D model is deployed everywhere. The Google Swirl unit, which is taking that model, putting it in an ad unit that's served out programmatically through DV360, that opens up the gates of access to 3D models and AR. So we're hitting them at every part of that consumer journey. Again, eliminating the words physical versus digital. Actually, this week we have over 10,000 posters all across the country with our star athlete Tom Wallish, where if you hold your phone up to it, it'll rip the glasses off his face and let you try them on. So the idea of there is no physical or digital for your end consumer, it's all one experience. And again, crawl, walk, run. This is the 7th campaign we've done with QReal. And the first campaign we did was amazing, right? And we've progressed so much to this new Marauder Elite. But I don't know if we had the permission to do that 7th one first with our consumer because they weren't ready for it. So, get to a point where you can crawl, walk, run into each one of these. And again, if you think about it strategically, you will never fail. If you're just doing this as a one-off, just to try to make a splash and go viral, probably not going to work. But we had an approach, we had our benchmarks that we went after each time, and it worked pretty wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just add to that. We're still learning. We're now on to our 7th or 8th campaign, and we're thinking about that journey. Very simply, awareness, consideration, conversion. There's a lot more complexity to that, but what is it that we might serve up at the bottom of the funnel and starting to integrate gift with purchase or promos, so that you can take that energy and then convert it, whether it's at retail or online. So we're still learning, and we're being led by the consumer. And as long as you're listening and you get your ear to the ground, and then you have the resources and these bright minds, you're going to get where you need to go.
Yeah, and just to finish up here, most of you are probably on my track, just knowing the crowd around here, right? And you can only be so lucky to get a brand that's willing to go on that journey with you. But I think presenting it like that is the real key, right? Is if you just dip in one time, you might get a nice little splash, and a lot of brands are just looking for that. But when you're talking to brands and talking to your customers, talking about the crawl, walk, run, and walking them through that journey of how you can start there, but then cross-platform and go on their entire digital ecosystem, and walk them through the journey from the beginning, and try and get that buy-in is really key because that's just like how you're going to make a real impact with their brand, and not just spot in here and there with a cool AR experience so they can show their boss and be like, we did AR. We're not always able to do that, by the way. Usually people just dip their toe in, but this time we were able to do it, and the results are there, and that's what we're going forward with.
Amazing. So that is our talk. Thank you so much. And now we want to open it up for 5 minutes for questions. But again, if there are too many questions, or we're going to be around all day, so you can ask us after. But we'll turn it open for questions now, if anyone has any.
We'll only take one, though.
Hey guys, thanks for the talk.
Sure, good morning.
Question for Chris, but for the group. So we talked a lot about using AR kind of in the top of the funnel and getting people to convert. What about AR use cases, particularly around these being wearable products to reduce returns?
Absolutely, and I forgot to say that, that's one of the struggles at retail, mostly online. So obviously, brick and mortar, you get to try it on and get to an experience. So now if you can reduce it at retail, online, and that's where having the glasses, not only to try on, and the way that these are now scaled, these experiences, they fit because of the quality of the model, almost as good as the glasses, but then also the performance, which substantiates that purchase. So when they get that and they pay their credit card, they go, okay, I'm going to keep it. So we have seen a reduction in returns.
Great. Yeah. And if I can throw on another question on top of that, how much of the campaigns that you guys are doing are related to, Bollé's direct-to-consumer efforts as opposed to, working with your channels like the other retailer that you guys were talking about, and how do you kind of prioritize, one versus the other?
So we have a story to tell, and we're going to do that through both channels. We do have our online D2C, both for Spicer and Getty and Bollé, but then we also have our retailers, brick and mortar, which depending on the product and the month, 10 to 20% of our sales D2C, 80 to 90% brick and mortar. So giving them the same tools. Obviously online, and Mike's helped us to great desktop experience with the word bubbles and explaining the tech. Also can see it on your mobile. Then the experience which goes to Instagram, which they can then share. We're providing all of that toolkit. We will give to retailers, which we've done with Tilly's. We did that with the sporting goods retailer. We did it with. We keep doing it, and then also tying it in with the poster of Tom Wallish with the Snap AR, where that's in Whistler Village, and the consumer can walk up, engage, oh my gosh, that's amazing, walk in, buy the store, so it becomes that physical and digital working together.
Yeah, we were able to get the models up on Tilly's as well, right? So this is a big problem when it comes to AR, e-commerce, or in this case 3D, basically getting the 3D model on the site, is these are companies that have to do it in super high volume, and they have tons of products. So how do you break that gate open to get the model onto the site, right? And so luckily they had a good enough relationship, and we were able to get the models on there, and they proved themselves out. Now we're getting the next round on, and so hopefully it's not just such a slow trickle over time, but getting the 3D models and seeing the efficacy of them on the e-retailer sites is some massive step forward for 3D and AR e-commerce.
And once you cross that bridge, it's great. We had no less than 18 developers on one call.
Yeah.
When we first tried to put that across.
But that was that 18 million number. So, and that's a great question, because we got that on Tilly's. In 30 days, we had 18 million views of the actual AR. So it was great using their brand equity and their their clout to essentially get all those clicks. But Mike's right, it's a great offering because Tilly's never had that before. I see Jason over there. We did this with Bleacher Report and Panera as well. And it's hard. It's hard to do because they're not built like that. But when you have Mike that can have light code SDK that kind of gets put in there, then all of a sudden you're giving them something they don't have.
They didn't need 18 engineers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But they all had to check their boxes,
It's
and
true. Yep.
it's a pretty simple integration, to be honest, if everyone knows about it. But nonetheless, that almost is a metaphor for the problem, right? Is that they got to get 18 people on a call to talk about getting like 3D models up on their website.
Which was a 15-minute call in the end because everybody was, okay, you're just going to serve it for us. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for the answers.
Yes.
Of course. All right, 20 seconds to go. I think we're right at time, right? That's any burning last-minute shout 1-minute questions.
Make sure you come up for your card, too.
Yeah, I got the money, man.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, Chris, and Mike. Really engaging. I love all of the kind of tactical takeaways, too. I think that's really important for people to have those learnings. And again, nice plug with the coupon. Make sure everyone gets it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sounds great.
We'll have about just a 1 to 2 minute break, and then we'll start with our next speakers.